Before the Bible, before the Quran, before almost every major religious text, there was an epic, a story so old it shaped mythology and history itself. The Epic of Gilgamesh is over 4,000 years old, the first great work of literature. But what if I told you that some of the most well-known religious stories today might have originated from this ancient tale? This epic isn't just an ancient tale. It contains stories of a great flood, a search for immortality, and themes that echo in the religious texts we know today. But how did these stories survive for thousands of years? Let's find out. The Epic of Gilgamesh was written around 2100 BCE in ancient Mesopotamia, in what is now Iraq. It was first recorded in Sumerian cuneiform, one of the earliest known writing systems, and later translated into Akkadian, the language of the Babylonian Empire. The most complete version we have today comes from the Library of Ashurbanipal, a massive collection of ancient texts from the 7th century BCE. It was written on 12 clay tablets and preserved for thousands of years, giving us a glimpse into the beliefs and fears of early civilizations. But who was Gilgamesh? Was he real or just a legend? Gilgamesh was said to be the king of Uruk, one of the most powerful cities in Mesopotamia. He ruled around 2700 BCE, according to the ancient Sumerian king list, which records rulers and their reigns. However, the list claims that he ruled for 126 years, a clear sign that myth and reality were already blending together. Some historians believe that Gilgamesh was a real king, whose deeds were later exaggerated and immortalized in mythology. Over time, he became larger than life, part god, part human, a warrior, a leader, and a man obsessed with finding immortality. Gilgamesh was not alone on his journey. His closest companion, Enkidu, was once a wild man, created by the gods to be his equal. They became inseparable, fighting great battles together, even challenging the gods themselves. But their defiance came at a cost. The gods sentenced Enkidu to death, and Gilgamesh could only watch as his friend fell ill and died. This was the moment that changed everything for him. Imagine losing your closest friend, someone who changed you for the better. What lengths would you go to in order to bring them back? For Gilgamesh, this wasn't just a thought, it became his life's quest. One of the most striking parallels between Gilgamesh and later religious texts is the story of the Great Flood. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, the gods decide that humanity has become too noisy and must be wiped out. But one man, Utnapishtim, is warned by the god Ea and told to build a giant boat to save his family and animals. The rain falls for days, entire cities are swallowed, and only one man is left to rebuild the world. When it was over, the gods granted Utnapishtim immortality as a reward for preserving life. But Utnapishtim's story is not unique. It bears striking similarities to other flood myths from around the world, most notably the story of Noah's Ark. If so many cultures have a flood myth, could there be a historical event behind it? Could this great flood have been inspired by a real event? Scientists and historians have debated whether an actual flood may have occurred in Mesopotamia thousands of years ago, one so devastating that it became the basis for legend. Some theories suggest that massive floods caused by the rising of the Euphrates and Tigris rivers could have been the inspiration for the flood myths found in the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Hebrew Bible, and even Hindu texts like the story of Manu. But why do so many ancient cultures tell stories of devastating floods? Could these myths be based on real natural disasters, or do they serve a deeper symbolic meaning? Perhaps these myths aren't just about water washing away humanity. Maybe they symbolize something deeper, the destruction of the old and the beginning of something new. Long after the Great Flood had reshaped the world, Gilgamesh sought out the one man who had survived it, Utnapishtim. He was the only mortal to ever be granted immortality by the gods. Utnapishtim told Gilgamesh the story of the flood, a tale eerily similar to the one that would later appear in the Hebrew Bible and other traditions. But Gilgamesh did not come for a history lesson. He came to learn the secret of eternal life. To prove himself worthy, Gilgamesh was given a challenge: stay awake for 6 days and 7 nights, but he failed. Yet Utnapishtim's wife took pity on him. She urged her husband to give Gilgamesh one last chance at a second life. A plant, hidden at the bottom of the sea, could restore youth to whoever ate it. Hope was not lost. With renewed determination, Gilgamesh dove into the depths, retrieved the plant, and rejoiced. He had finally found the key to immortality. But in a moment of rest, as he set the plant down, a serpent appeared and stole it. A sacred gift of life stolen by a serpent. Sound familiar? The story of Adam and Eve tells of a paradise lost, of knowledge that was within reach but taken away by the very symbol of deception, a serpent. In many traditions, the serpent is a guardian of forbidden knowledge. In others, it's a symbol of constant renewal, like when a snake sheds its skin. But in stories like Gilgamesh and Eden, the serpent becomes something else, the one who takes knowledge away. After all his struggles, Gilgamesh returns home, not as an immortal, but as a man who finally understands that life is meant to be lived, not hoarded. This isn't just a story about a lost chance at eternal life. It's about coming to terms with being human. And that's what makes the Epic of Gilgamesh so timeless. At the end of the day, mythology isn't about who did it first. It's about how humans tell stories. History is written, but myths are remembered. What do you think? Could the Epic of Gilgamesh have influenced modern religions? Or are these simply universal human themes? Comment your thoughts below, and we're working on more lost history videos. Subscribe so you don't miss them.